Do you work hard every single day, but your bank account never grows? You wake up, you go to work, you come home tired, and at the end of the month, you look at your account and think, where did it all go? You are not lazy, you are not stupid, but something is wrong, and deep down, you already know it. This lesson is for English learners who want a richer mind and life. Today we are going to talk about money. Not in the way your parents talked about it, not in the way your school taught it. We are going to talk about the real reasons why most people stay broke their entire lives, even when they work hard, even when they try, even when they want more. Here is the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. 99% of people will never be rich. Not because the world is unfair, not because they were born in the wrong family, but because of what they believe what they do every single day and what they refuse to change. The rich don't wish for money. They decide to have it. That one sentence is the difference. Not luck, not inheritance, not a better job or a bigger salary. A decision. A different way of thinking. A different set of habits that most people never learn. By the end of this lesson, you will see money differently. You will understand why your habits, not your income, are deciding your financial future right now. You will see the 7 hard truths that separate the 1% from everyone else. And you will know exactly what needs to change starting today. This is not going to be comfortable. I am not here to make you feel good. I am here to tell you what is real. Because the truth, even when it is hard, is the only thing that can actually set you free. So if you are ready to stop making excuses and start making changes, stay with me. This lesson might be the most important 35 minutes of your financial life. And if this is the wake-up call you have been waiting for, subscribe right now, because what comes next is going to challenge everything you think you know about money. Let's begin. Truth 1. You are spending your future. Let me ask you something. Do you know someone who always has the newest phone, a nice car in the driveway, new clothes every season? They eat at good restaurants. They take trips. They look like money. But here is what you don't see. The credit card bill sitting on their kitchen table. The loan they took to buy that car. The bank account with almost nothing in it. The stress they feel every single night when the lights go off. Here's the truth. Looking rich and being rich are two completely different things. And most people spend their entire lives chasing the look, never building the reality. There was a man who lived in a neighborhood in the city. Everyone on his street thought he was doing well. New SUV every 2 years. Big television. Designer shoes. His kids wore the right brands. At family gatherings, people looked at him with respect. They thought, that man has made it. Then one day, he lost his job. Just like that. And within 3 months, everything was gone. The car went back to the dealer. The credit cards were maxed. The house was at risk. The man who looked the richest on the street was actually the most fragile. He was not building wealth. He was performing wealth. And there is a world of difference. This is called lifestyle inflation. Every time your income goes up a little, your spending goes up a lot. You get a raise, so you get a nicer apartment. You get a bonus, so you buy something you wanted. The number in your paycheck grows, but the number in your savings never moves. A broke mindset spends what it earns. A wealthy mindset invests what it earns. One man saw expenses where another saw opportunity. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in history, still lives in the same house he bought in 1958. A simple house in a normal neighborhood, while his bank account held billions of dollars. He did not buy the car. He bought the asset. You see, every dollar you spend on something that loses value is a dollar that cannot grow. A new phone loses value the moment you open the box. A new car loses value the moment you drive it off the lot. But a dollar invested in something that grows, a stock, a business, a skill, that dollar becomes $2, then 4, then 10. He woke up and saw expenses. He woke up and saw opportunities. He chose to buy things that made him money instead of things that cost him money. That single choice, repeated every month for decades, is the reason some people retire early and others retire never. So ask yourself this: when you get paid next month, what will you do first? Will you spend on what feels good right now, or will you invest in what sets you free later? They buy the car. The rich buy the asset. That is truth 1, and it is only the beginning. Truth 2. Nobody taught you this. Think about everything you learned in school. You learned history. You learned science. You learned how to solve equations with letters in them. You spent years studying things you have never used since the day you left that classroom. But did anyone ever sit you down and teach you how money works? Did any teacher explain the difference between an asset and a liability? Did any class show you how interest grows over time, how to read a financial statement, how to make your money work for you while you sleep? For most people, the answer is no. Nobody taught you this, and that is not your fault, but it is your problem. Listen carefully. The school system was built to create workers, not owners. It was designed to teach you how to follow instructions, show up on time, and do your job well. Those are useful skills, but they are the skills of someone who works for money, not someone who makes money work for them. And so, most people enter adult life completely blind. They get their first paycheck and they spend it. They get a credit card and they use it. They hear words like investment, compound interest, portfolio, and they feel confused and embarrassed, so they never ask. They just keep working, keep spending, keep hoping that someday things will get better. But hope is not a financial plan. Warren Buffett started reading about money when he was 7 years old. By the time he was 11, he bought his first stock. Not because he was a genius, not because his family was rich, because he was curious. Because he found books, old books, boring books, books that most people would never open. And he read them. He studied. He learned what schools never taught. He was not smarter than you. He was simply better informed. And information, when you act on it, becomes power. The financially free person reads what the broke person ignores. The financially free person asks what the broke person is too proud to ask. The financially free person learns what the broke person calls boring. That is the gap. Not talent, not luck, knowledge. And knowledge is the one thing in life that nobody can take away from you once you have it. So what do you do with this truth? You start learning. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, today, with whatever you have, a book from a library, a free video, a conversation with someone who knows more than you. You close the gap that your school left open. Because here is what changes when you understand money. You stop being afraid of it. You stop avoiding the topic. You stop feeling like financial freedom is something that happens to other people. You start seeing it as a skill, like any other skill, that can be learned, practiced, and mastered. Nobody taught you this. That is the problem. But today, that changes. Truth, too, is not about blame. It is about responsibility. The education system failed you in this area. That is real. But you are an adult now. And adults do not wait for someone to teach them. They go and find the lesson themselves. Truth 3. You are selling the wrong thing. Let me ask you a simple question. What do you sell every single day of your working life? Most people will say, I sell my skills. I sell my experience. I sell my time for a salary. And that is exactly the problem. Stay with me. If you stop working tomorrow, does the money stop too? If you get sick for 3 months, does the income disappear? If you take a long holiday, does the bank account go quiet? For most people, the answer is yes. And that means you are not building wealth. You are renting your life out 1 hour at a time. This is the trap that almost everyone falls into. You go to school so you can get a job. You get a job so you can earn money. You earn money so you can pay your bills. And then you go back to work so you can do it all again. Year after year. Decade after decade. The treadmill keeps moving, but you never actually go anywhere. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of one of the most famous books ever written about money, explained it this way. There are 2 columns in your financial life, assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out. Most people spend their lives collecting liabilities and calling them assets. Your car is not an asset. It costs you money every month. Your expensive apartment is not an asset. It takes from your pocket, not adds to it. The things that feel like success, the nice things, the comfortable things, are very often the things quietly draining your future. If your time stops, your income stops. If your effort stops, your money stops. And no amount of hard work can fix a broken system. Now think about this. What if you had something that made money while you were sleeping? A small investment that grew on its own. A skill that people paid for online even at midnight. A business, even a tiny one, that worked without you being there every hour. That is an asset. That is a system. And that is what the 1% spend their lives building, while the 99% spend their lives avoiding. Most people sell their time. Rich people build systems that buy time back. If your income depends entirely on your presence, you do not have financial freedom. You have a job. And a job, no matter how well it pays, is not the same as wealth. A high salary can be taken away. A layoff, a health crisis, a company that closes. Just like that, the income is gone. But an asset keeps working. A business keeps selling. An investment keeps growing. A system keeps running, even when you are not there. This does not mean you quit your job tomorrow. It does not mean you take crazy risks with money you cannot afford to lose. It means you start thinking differently. Right now, with whatever you have, you ask yourself one question. What can I build that works when I am not working? It does not have to be big. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to start. Because if you only ever sell your time, you will spend your whole life buying it back with stress, with exhaustion, with years you cannot get back. Stop selling your hours. Start building your machine. That is truth 3, and it changes everything about how you see your Monday morning. Truth 4. Playing it safe is killing you. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You have a little money saved, not a lot, but something, and it is sitting in a bank account, a regular savings account. And every month you look at it and feel good, feel responsible, feel like you are doing the right thing. But here is what the bank is not telling you. That money is shrinking. Not in number. The number stays the same or grows a tiny bit. But in real value, in what that money can actually buy, it is getting smaller every single year. This is called inflation. And it is quiet. It does not send you a letter. It does not show up as a loss in your account. It just slowly, silently eats the power of your money year after year while you think you are being safe. He put his savings in the bank. He watched the number stay flat. He felt responsible. That is not safety. That is a slow loss dressed up as security. Now think about this. If your money grows at 1% a year in a savings account, but the cost of living grows at 3% a year, you are losing 2% every single year. You are working hard. You are saving carefully, and you are still falling behind. The 99% choose comfort. The 1% choose growth. Safe is the most dangerous word in finance. Let that sit for a moment. Because most people have been taught their whole lives that saving is smart and risk is stupid. And yes, saving is better than spending everything. But saving without investing is just losing slowly instead of losing fast. Now, this does not mean you should gamble your money away. It does not mean you put everything into something you do not understand and hope for the best. Smart risk is not reckless risk. Smart risk is educated risk. It is learning before you act. It is starting small. It is building knowledge before you build a position. Compound interest is one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. Here is how it works. You invest a small amount. That amount earns a return. Then, that return earns a return on top of itself, and it keeps going. Slowly at first, then faster still. A small amount invested consistently over 20 years does not grow in a straight line. It grows like a curve that bends upward and never comes back down. But compound interest has one enemy: waiting. Every year you do not start is a year that curve cannot begin. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. The person who invests a small amount every month starting at 25 will have far more at 65 than the person who invests 10 times as much starting at 45. Not because of effort, because of time, because they started, because they chose growth over comfort when it was still early enough to matter. And if this is changing how you see money, if these truths are hitting you in a real way, subscribe right now, because this channel exists for people who are ready to think differently. There is more coming, and you do not want to miss it. The question is never whether investing has risk. It does. Everything in life has risk. The question is, which risk is smarter? The risk of trying and losing a little, or the risk of never trying and losing everything slowly? Playing it safe feels good today, but safe is the most dangerous word in finance. And the cost of comfort is a future that never arrives. Truth 5. Stop blaming everything except yourself. This one is going to be uncomfortable. I need you to stay open, because this truth is the one most people refuse to hear. And it is also the one that once you accept it, changes everything. How many times have you said something like this? The economy is bad. The government does not help people like me. My boss does not pay me enough. I did not have the right connections. I was not born into the right family. I did not get the right opportunities. Maybe some of that is true. Maybe the system is not perfectly fair. Maybe you did have it harder than others. I am not saying your life was easy. I am not saying the world treats everyone equally. But hear me on this. There are people who grew up in the same economy as you and built wealth. There are people with fewer connections, less education, smaller starting points who figured it out anyway. Same rules, same system, different results. So what is the difference? David Goggins grew up with nothing: abuse at home, poverty, failing grades, a body that was out of shape, and a mind that was full of doubt. By every measure, he had every reason to fail. Every excuse was available to him, and he chose not to use a single one. He did not change his past. He could not. Nobody can. But he took complete ownership of his present, every decision, every action, every result. He stopped asking why his life was hard, and started asking what he was going to do about it. That is the difference between a victim and an owner. Victims blame the system. Owners change their position within it. Look at your own financial life right now. Every excuse you have made about money, every reason you have given for why you are not where you want to be. I want you to hold those reasons in your mind for just 1 second. And now ask yourself this: is this a reason or is this a choice? Because here is what nobody tells you. Blame feels good. It really does. When you blame the economy, the government, your boss, your family, you remove yourself from the equation. You are no longer responsible, and that feels like relief. But that relief comes at a terrible price. Because the moment you decide that your financial situation is someone else's fault, you also decide that your financial future is in someone else's hands. And that means you are waiting for someone else to fix it, someone else to change, someone else to give you permission to succeed. And that person is never coming. The economy did not make you broke. Your choices did. Your habits did. Your decisions made quietly every single day built the financial life you are living right now. That is hard to hear, but it is also the most freeing thing you will ever accept. Because if your choices got you here, then your choices can get you somewhere else. You are not stuck. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a person with the power to decide differently, starting right now, today, with whatever you have. The rich don't wish for money. They decide to have it. Ownership is not just a mindset. It is a practice. It is what you do after you hear a hard truth like this one. Do you close the video and go back to your old habits? Or do you sit with the discomfort and let it push you forward? That choice, right now, is yours. Truth 6. One decision now, everything later. There is a woman named Maria. She grew up in a small apartment with her mother and 2 brothers. Her mother worked 2 jobs. There was never extra money. There was only enough. And sometimes not even that. Maria watched her mother come home exhausted every night and thought, I do not want this to be my life. When Maria got her first real job at 22, she did not make much. Enough to cover rent, food, transport, not much left over. But every single month, without fail, she put away a small amount. Not a lot. Some months it was painful. Some months she had to say no to things her friends were doing. No to the dinner out. No to the new jacket. No to the weekend trip. Her friends thought she was boring. Her family thought she was being too careful. But Maria had made a decision. One quiet, firm, private decision. She decided that her future self deserved more than her present comfort. Let me make this simple. Every time you choose comfort today, you are borrowing from your future. And the interest on that loan is your freedom. Maria kept going, month after month, year after year. She learned about investing. She put her savings into simple, low-cost funds. She did not pick risky stocks. She did not try to get rich fast. She was patient. She was consistent. She was boring on purpose. By the time Maria was 45, she had something that almost none of her friends had. Options. Real options. She did not have to take every job she was offered. She did not have to stay in a situation she did not like. She did not have to panic when something went wrong. Because she had built a quiet foundation under her life, one small decision at a time. She could work less. She could travel. She could help her mother finally rest. One decision, made at 22, changed everything at 45. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty in rural Mississippi. She faced hardship that most people cannot imagine. But when she began to earn money, she did not spend it to prove she had arrived. She reinvested. She built. She grew her earnings into ownership, into a media company, into real assets that multiplied over decades. She did not just earn her way to wealth, she decided her way there. Every time she could have spent, she chose to build instead. If your dreams excite you, if your goals feel just out of reach, if your present feels too small for what you know you are capable of, then you already have what Maria had at 22. The awareness, the wanting, the sense that something needs to change. All you need now is the decision. Not the perfect plan, not the right moment, not more information. A decision. One clear, firm, daily decision to choose your future over your comfort, your freedom over your fun, your 45 over your 22. Because delayed gratification is not about suffering. It is not about living small or being miserable. It is about understanding that you cannot have everything at once, but you can have the most important things eventually if you are willing to wait for them. One decision now, 1,000 options later. That is what Maria understood. That is what Oprah practiced. And that is what the 1% do quietly, consistently, without needing anyone to applaud them for it. The question is not whether you can afford to start. The question is whether you can afford to wait any longer. Truth 7. The 1% are not smarter. They think differently. We have arrived at the final truth, and this one pulls everything together. For most of your life, you have probably looked at wealthy people and thought one of two things. Either they were lucky, born into the right family, given the right opportunities at the right time, or they were exceptional, smarter than average, gifted with something you do not have. But here is what most people miss. Neither of those things is true. Not for most of them. Not for the ones who built it themselves. The 1% are not smarter than you. They do not have better brains. They were not all born rich. Many of them started with less than you have right now. What they have is different thinking, different daily habits, different questions they ask themselves when they wake up in the morning. The 99% wake up and ask, "How do I get through today?" The 1% wake up and ask, "How do I build something that lasts?" The 99% see a dollar and think, "What can I buy?" The 1% see a dollar and think, "Where can I put this so it grows?" The 99% read the price tag. The 1% read the investment potential. That is not intelligence. That is perspective. And perspective can be learned. Think about your daily decisions. The coffee you buy every morning, the subscription you forgot to cancel, the small purchase that felt harmless. None of those things is the problem on its own. But the thinking behind them, the automatic, unexamined comfort-first thinking that is the pattern that keeps most people exactly where they are. The 1% are not living in suffering. They enjoy their lives. They take trips, they eat well, they are generous. But underneath all of that, there is a discipline that runs quietly in the background, a filter that every financial decision passes through. Does this bring me closer to freedom or further away? That filter, that single question, that is the difference. The rich don't follow the herd, they study it. While most people are buying what is popular, the 1% are asking why it is popular and what comes next. While most people are spending their raise, the 1% are investing it before they can feel it. While most people are reacting to life, the 1% are designing it. And the most important thing, the thing that should give you genuine hope right now, is this. None of what they do is secret. None of it is locked behind a door you cannot open. The books exist. The information is available. The path is visible to anyone willing to look. The gap between you and financial freedom is not money. It is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is a decision about how you think, what you prioritize, and whether you are willing to be uncomfortable long enough to build something real. The rich don't wish for money. They decide to have it. And now you know what that decision actually looks like. It looks like Truth 1. Buying assets instead of performing wealth. It looks like Truth 2. Seeking the financial education your school never gave you. It looks like Truth 3. Building systems instead of selling hours. It looks like Truth 4. Choosing growth over the illusion of safety. It looks like Truth 5. Taking full ownership of every financial result in your life. It looks like Truth 6. Choosing your future self over your present comfort, one small decision at a time. And it looks like this moment right now, where you choose whether to go back to old habits or forward into a different kind of life. You are not too late. The path is still open, but it will not wait forever, and you cannot wait any longer. You have just heard 7 hard truths about money, and I want to make sure they stay with you not just for today, but for the weeks and months ahead when the old habits try to pull you back. Truth 1. You are spending your future. Every dollar you spend on something that loses value is a dollar that cannot grow. Stop buying the look of wealth. Start building the reality of it. Truth 2. Nobody taught you this. The school system was not designed to make you financially free. That gap is real, but it is your responsibility to close it. Start learning. Start now. Truth 3. You are selling the wrong thing. If your income stops the moment you stop working, you do not have financial freedom. You have a job. Build something that works when you are not in the room. Truth 4. Playing it safe is killing you. A savings account that grows slower than inflation is not safety. It is a slow loss. Choose educated risk. Start small. Start today. Truth 5. Stop blaming everything except yourself. The economy, the government, the boss, the family, none of them are coming to fix your financial life. You are. Take ownership. Make the decision. Truth 6. One decision now, everything later. Delayed gratification is not suffering, it is strategy. Every small choice you make today is either building your future or borrowing from it. Choose wisely. Truth 7. The 1% are not smarter. They think differently. They ask different questions. They run every decision through a single filter. Does this bring me closer to freedom or further away? Now you have that filter too. So what do you do next? You pick one truth, just one, the one that hits you the hardest, and you make one change this week. Not 10 changes, not a complete life overhaul, one change. One decision, one step in a different direction. Because that is how it starts, not with a perfect plan, not with a lot of money, with one decision made, clearly made, firmly made, today. The rich don't wish for money, they decide to have it. And now, so can you. You are not too late, but you cannot wait any longer. The life you want is on the other side of the habits you are willing to build. It is on the other side of the excuses you are willing to drop. It is on the other side of the comfort you are willing to give up just enough, just long enough, to build something real. So go. Start. Do the thing you have been putting off. Open the account. Read the book. Make the budget. Have the conversation. Take the first small step that your future self will thank you for. Which truth hit you the hardest? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. And if someone in your life needs to hear this today, share this video with them. It might be the most useful thing you do for them this year. Keep listening daily, and your English will grow with your wealth. See you in the next lesson.